happens here, and they're more consistent overall. It's a really difficult way. Like, I want Sprout to be able to bring this one back, and from what we've seen today, it feels like it's a possibility, but it is still a long shot. That's the problem here.
Yep. Well, there is 7 maps locked in. We'll kick things off on Slowdown Fitting here for the Challenger League. But as you said, should be probably considered in this matchup. Alternate attacks favored. Agility Dash then is going to be an interesting one. And that, I think, will set the tone for the rest of the match. If alternate attacks pick up a win there, you start to get very nervous as a Sprout fan. And then back and forth, slippy slides, huh?
If you're not going to cheer for Sprout as a Sprout fan, and you're not going to cheer for Sprout just for the storyline of being able to have, you know, the tiebreaker, cheer for Sprout for the possibility of gyroscope. let's get this, and then the tiebreaker. Come on, to be fair, if the tiebreaker of the whole season is gyroscope,
we won't have a tiebreaker for the whole season. Well, unless we go, if I guess it is the tiebreaker for the whole season if it's map 7 and the second best of 7. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, they are. Sorry, that's a good point. Yeah, I completely forgot the format for a second.
That could happen. I mean, apart from the fact that one of these teams has always banned gyroscope and the other one has always banned flip of fate, technically possible. But let's focus on the present. Let's focus on here now. Let's focus, Twiggy, on Slowdown.
Let's do that indeed. Slowdown. Oh man, like. It's been a mainstay here. Obviously, I'm starting to get, you know, emotional about us leaving maps behind. I think everybody loves Slowdown in their own way, right? Obviously, it's not the most exciting map with all of these different things happening, but it's exciting because everybody is incredibly quick on it. Everybody has been pushing for world records, especially in the Challengers League, done so well to get these new records currently held by... wait, sorry, yeah, no, it's not Ratchet anymore, is it? We got a 199.
We got a 199, which was...
Feed.
Well, it was silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, Feed is now the world record holder. And,
and lost.
Yeah, and lost.
You know, vital.
But yeah, no, it's...
Speaking about these two teams in particular, though, if we're looking at this map, and as you said, most of these teams, because we do have a pause, it is our faces again. Alternate attacks have won 8 out of their 9 visits to this map. Sprout have won 1 of those 9 visits to this map. So if you're talking about, like, hey, this should be maybe alternate attacks favored, we're not just pulling that out of thin air. That is very much backed up by the history of these two teams, the times they drive, and when it gets down to the clutch, when it matters, sending it over those final hills and pushing it to the limit and not beyond. Alternate attacks do it, Sprout don't.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I do think we get started here with a quick map win for alternate attacks. Again, look, the thing is, even last time Sprout played at alternate attacks on this map, it was incredibly close. It always is. Every map comes down to a few points generally. We don't see the same thing that we see in a lot of series where it comes down to a 10-2 or something like that. It's probably going to be pretty tight. But alternate attacks just always have that upper hand is the thing. And look, we've seen the consistency from Sprout here today. I'll put it the same way again, is that it's what they needed. But can they get it enough against a team that has been doing that for weeks on end now?
Yeah, and of course, I mean, Skandir is that player. Skandir is the consistency king himself across not just the Challenger League, but the Grand League included in that. Has just been nigh on unflappable. You cannot convince Skandir to make near any mistakes at all. And that is part of why this matchup is going to be so exciting, because it's not just about the times, it is about getting that car across the line as often as possible with those times as well. And Skandir is very good at doing that. At the moment, he has dropped down a little bit into 4th place, despite battling Dexter for the lead for a lot of this map. woesal picking up the slack for his teammate as we head into the identity.
The slack is only 2/10 as we move forward. There's not much whatsoever. Sprout, they head through the trees. woesal trying to take back 1st place, but he sticks in 2nd. Scrappy comes 3rd. It's a train through to the very end. 1/10 between each player. Victory. Wow, we start things off with a 56-5. And 3.5 tenths between everyone. That's
quick.
Yeah. Well, okay, but there's Sprout. Okay, there it is, right? The consistency is there now. Can they get it done round on round? That's the question.
Yeah, and because that is the difficulty against alternate attacks. Not to stress it too much, but Scandir. It's just Scandir. He's very, very hard to beat every single round. And ultimately, that's kind of what you need to do to beat alternate attacks. And it was something Sprout failed to do last week. That is why they start at a 1-match deficit here in the grand finals, having lost last week in the upper bracket finals and coming through the lower bracket instead.
Yeah, it's a big, big punishment, but at the same time, you lost. You've already lost to this team. The fact that you're getting another chance against them is just a gift of the double elimination format. So I think it's deserved. Personally, you can debate that as much as you want, but I think, oh no, that's not good. Dexter, he hits a pole. He's actually, Scrappy, can he take first place? Oh, he can. He's being hounded down by Wosile, but he stays out in first and forces a draw, and Sprout stay ahead, but that was looking a bit shaky there for a second.
This is one of the things that we maybe criticized Sprout for in the past as well, though, is that on slowdown, while they do go for that riskier line through the trees, some of the teams that we see do that, Schweine Racing, for example, look flawless. They gain quite a lot of time out of it, maybe a 10th over the course of it, which is not nothing when rounds are as close as they are in slowdown in general. And they very, very rarely crash into the trees themselves. Maybe they go flying in one of the later turns, but they very rarely crash the trees. Sprout, by comparison, do tend to make a few more errors into those trees going for that line than the other teams that do try it. Yeah,
the fun thing about this matchup is that both of these teams put together brilliant times round on round, pretty much. Unless there is a mistake, they're going to be neck and neck through to the very end, pretty much. But obviously, most of the time, it's Sprout is the one that we've seen making the mistakes. I fail to see that alternate attacks lack the consistency to do that anytime soon, and it's a very good line from them once again. They have speed, and like they take the same line. It looks like robots playing sometimes. It really does.
Yep.
And Scrappy and Dexter somehow get aced on that round, despite the fact that they didn't drive bad times at all.
No, that was still quick. I mean, in most other matches, that would be maybe an ace to Sprout, but alternate attacks are just that quick, and they will pick up the ace of their own to counter the one that Sprout, well, haven't gotten so far in this match, but it was the round win that Sprout had picked up earlier that given them the lead. Alternate attacks instead sit at 5. They move ahead in the match. This is, we said, an alternate attacks favored map. They will look to hand Sprout their 9th loss over the course of the season on this map.
Yeah, now that it seems as if they've warmed up a little bit, not that we were setting bad times from the start, it's looking more and more likely that they just take this one away. They get ahead of Sprout. Sprout now needs to do more work just to stay with them, and you can see that they're doing the same thing that Ominosun were being forced to do last time against them, is that they're having to push themselves a little further here against alternate attacks. Can alternate attacks get another good round out of the identity here? That's awkward, but it stays okay. Not okay enough. Scandir overtakes, and it's a round win for alternate attacks there. That a 56.4 before 2 weeks ago would have been an insane
before
time.
Today as well.
Yeah, and now that is 3 tenths away from the world record.
yeah, and I mean, credit to Scrappy, because he made the mistake. He still
stayed in,
only finished 4 tenths behind. That was an incredible recovery line. And again, in any other match, he's probably still not 4th place there. He drove a 56.8 and came 4th on slowdown. That's absurd.
Yeah, it really is, and we're just going to keep seeing this over and over and over again. It doesn't seem like alternate attacks let off the brakes this time around. Wosile and Scrappy have both made a mistake. Wosile's mistake a little bigger than Scrappy, so he does move down into 4th place. So it is Scandir versus Dexter, 2 of the titans of this league up against each other here. And it's neck and neck as they move forward into the identity. Scandir usually a little quicker, but he's a little too quick for his own good this time around. And Dexter takes over 1st place. He gets it all done, and Scrappy overtakes for 2nd as well. It's an ace right back in alternate attacks' faces, and it's 7-7. 56.359, by the way.
56.359 before today. That's a world record.
That is a new world record before today, but
that's absurd. Hey, I mean, clip it, ship it, stick it in your scrapbook. You do not get to see a Scandir mistake very often of that magnitude in a round that is that tight. And yet, it was there. It opens the door to Sprout back into slowdown. What a time it would be to pick up their 2nd win of the season on slowdown. Unfortunately, an ace just immediately loses it for them, and well, that's the position they're sitting in.
Yeah, and that's really not great. It's just 2 wall touches. That is it. That sends Scrappy down by half a second and Dexter down by 1.5 seconds. And it's looking like Skandir and WOSAL, usually when their opposition makes a mistake, they cruise through. You know, they know that they have that gap available to them. Their calls are good, and they manage to get things done consistently. Skandir does not make the same mistake he did when he was being hounded by Dexter last time around. They are smooth through to the end. Skandir and WOSAL swap places, but in the end they swap places again. They get through to the end, and again, like, you can see the time there is so much more casual than the other times they've had. They let Scrappy catch up a bit, but they didn't need to set a world record there, and that's exactly the kind of thing that alternate attacks are able to do, I think. It's what impresses me the most about them, is that when they know that they are able to do something, they just get it done consistently without, you know, when they're being pushed, yeah, sometimes there are some mistakes, but they weren't being pushed there and they just went, okay, cool, take the ace, good.
Heads up play. It's exactly what you want to see at the team at the top of the league as well. It's not just pure pace. It's not just consistency. It's heads up play. It's intelligent play as well from alternate attacks, and it served them very well indeed there to close things out on Slowdown. They will pick up their 9th win of 10 on the map, and Sprout will pick up their 9th loss of 10 on that map. So if we go to, you know, if Sprout pulled us back, if we go to a second best of 7 here, Twiggy, and that at the moment feels like a big if, maybe you take Slowdown off the table. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, when you look at these 2 teams, that is actually a pretty decently large point difference. You know, a lot of the time we're seeing 1 or 2 point difference come between these 2 teams at the end of a map. 3 points and losing it by an ace, that does kind of hurt a little bit, you know, despite the times that they were putting up. Yeah, I mean, as we move forward to Agility Dash, obviously Sprout are going to be a little more confident on this one. But again, you can't be confident completely against this team.
Yep. Well, we'll go on to Agility Dash, and this map not played at all in the upper bracket final between these 2 teams last weekend, so we don't really have a great idea of exactly how this matchup is going to go between them. In fact, alternate attacks, they've only played this map once, and they won it against Amino Sun in Playday 7 of the regular season here. So we'll be looking to see exactly what they can do. It's definitely one of their least played, at least in live rounds, maps.
Yeah, well, here we go. Sprout, this is their map. This is where they need to do it. Skandir, he clips a wheel on the checkpoint. That sends him way down into 4th position. Scrappy and Dexter now just need to get things done. Scrappy, he falls back down as well. Skandir catches back up to him, and it's going to be a very tight affair between 1st and 2nd. Maybe even be a tight affair between 3rd and 4th. The Skandir moves further up. Dexter and WOSAL, they're contending for each other. Dexter, he moves down, and he's made a mistake, and Skandir may just be catching up to Scrappy as well. Scrappy stays out ahead just about and forces that 2nd place, but it's still a round win for alternate attacks to open things up.
Yeah, and that's a live round BB for WOSAL as well, because despite the fact that this team has only played this map once, they still have the current best average time of any team in the Challenger League on Agility Dash, which, I mean, they do for a lot of maps. Alternate attacks are very consistent. I don't know if we've mentioned that already.
Wow. Have we said
that? But for a map that is one of Sprout's favorite picks, one of the maps they use to pressure their opponents, to really apply kind of you know, worry in the middle of a match when you have to go up against Sprout on Agility Dash. Alternate attacks, for their 2nd time on this map, maybe putting the pressure back on Sprout instead.
Yeah, and we saw a very similar thing last time with Reps, last week, with, oh, that's a big slowdown, with Reps, where alternate attacks just surprised Sprout with their ability on that map, and suddenly just their capability to absolutely, you know, Sprout had never lost Reps before that day. Not whatsoever. Yes, they've been getting closer to losing. They had a 10-7 the week before. But alternate attacks, it was not their map to take whatsoever. And in Sprout's minds, that's a massive, massive, like, just suddenly it's just like, oh, hold on a second. This is not every other team that we're coming up against. And that is the only way I can describe alternate attacks. It's just they're not the other teams. They're really not. They're a completely different beast than everything else Sprout has had to come up against. And yeah, it shows all the time.
Yeah, well, here we are with Scandir and WOSAL out to a lead at this time. Scrappy risking a little bit through that series of alternating jumps, has regained, has overtaken Scandir and may yet catch WOSAL as he has slightly more speed entering. WOSAL lands a little bit earlier and is a little bit straighter through the middle air, and Scandir is the straightest of all. He cruises on through. Look at the pace on these two cars. Hand in hand they go with 3,000s between them. Alternate Attacks will pick up an ace and they will move to 5-1 on Agility Dash.
They just don't take prisoners at this point. I feel like, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, we say it, and then I feel like I'm like, you know, maybe we're giving a little too much credit to what, you know, like, I feel like I'm, you know, really going on about how alternate attacks are so good, and then they prove me right every single time.
It's a very easy prediction.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem here, is that I really want to give credit to Sprout. I want them to be more consistent on this one, and I thought that we had seen the Sprout that Sprout needed to beat alternate attacks last series against Omino Sun, but it's just not enough. It's
yeah, because I wouldn't argue that they're playing worse than they played in that series at all. I think they are more consistent, maybe even than when they met alternate attacks last weekend. Alternate attacks are just an absolute machine, and hey, enjoy it while you can in the Challenger League, because these are two players that I would not be shocked to see maybe getting some offers from some Grand League teams in the near future. Scandir especially has been unstoppable all season long, and hey, it's just been a pleasure to watch them.
It really has. I mean, like, this matchup we've hyped up so much because it really is an insane matchup, but even then, you know, every map is close generally. Oh wow, that's an unfortunate bonk there, but every matchup is every map, sorry, is generally so close. These teams are so talented, every single player in this server, but still alternate attacks just managed to wipe the floor with Sprout. I don't, it's so, in terms of series points, I mean, not in terms of round points, it's much closer on that front. But yeah, I mean, like, Sprout only have 3 maps against alternate attacks over the whole season.
Yeah, and that's 3 matches played so far, and at the moment they are still sitting on 0, and this looks to be another one, as that will be Scandir taking the win. It will be Scrappy behind, but WOSAL takes 3rd as Dexter crawls across the line, a little bit behind the rest of the pack. A crash near the start of the identity costing him a few seconds.
Oh man, alternate attacks now on track point here. All they need is an ace, and that's not looking unlikely as we move forward. And Sprout, you know, you've got to be thinking at this point, is their mental going to be okay after this one? After another, like a repeat of their reps last time around, where they felt confident going into it. It's their map, you know, reps they've owned. Oh man, this, so all the way through, right? They've owned it throughout the whole season. This is the same kind of thing. It's Agility Dash. They've owned it this whole season. And now alternate attacks once again are just showing them that, no, you may have owned it against everybody else. We're not everybody else.
We will make you work for WOSAL, though. We'll have a little bit of an incident in the middle of the track there, and that means Scrappy owns the lead all to himself in the middle here. Scandir will attempt to gain, trying to hit speeds. He'll only get up to a 6.31. Not the fastest we've seen so far tonight, not the fastest we saw in this round either, as Scrappy continues to hold onto his lead out there.
Yeah, and he needs this lead now. If he drops down into 3rd place, it's all over on this map as well, and things are looking very bleak for them. Dexter 16 seconds down. He has almost no possibility of catching up unless there are several mistakes from every player on the identity here. Scrappy stays in 1st place. He's been good on this identity today. Can he get it done this time around when his teammate needs him? Scandir and WOSAL hounding him down at this point. Scandir does have more speed, but Scrappy is far enough ahead that he can get it done. He can force the draw, and he does indeed. He gets to the finish line with a 1:28.488, an absolutely monumental time to keep them at bay. Monumental time to keep them at bay. Well, I mean, hey, when Scrappy is needed, here he comes. Knight in shining armor.
Hey, unfortunately, I think that does mean that Scrappy is legally obliged to crash the next round early on.
Yeah,
if I know anything about Sprout.
It's not a world record, so technically...
That's true. That's true. He hasn't set a world record, so he could potentially manage to make it through this next round. But it's going to be tough, and I mean, they are still sitting a little bit behind, and if they do lose this round, it is all over for Agility Dash. Alternate attacks move 2-0 up, and Sprout stare down the barrel of an extremely difficult comeback.
Yeah, now just that round win for alternate attacks does it for them, and Sprout, I mean, that time is pulled out at you know, you could say it was the best time to be able to do that, to stop alternate attacks from getting the ace right there. But is it? They're still 5 points down. You know, it doesn't make a difference if that was in round 1 or in that last round. Scandir, there's a mistake. Maybe it will open the door for them here, but they still need to stop anything big from happening here. It's still just a draw for alternate attacks puts them, I mean, still 5 points ahead, and they would only need one more draw.
Yep. Wosile needing to hold on now, needing to get all the way to the end, and even then, as you say, only 1 point potentially in the card. Scandir's mistake, not the most costly, is sitting only a second and a half behind Wosile, only about a second behind Scrappy and Dexter at the moment. So if either of them makes the error, there is a chance that alternate attacks close out the map here. They could win this one yet.
Scandir not too far behind at this point. Dexter and Scrappy, they've loved this identity more and more over the course of the season. They have been getting quicker and quicker on it.
Oh,
Scrappy falls a little further behind. He still has enough speed to make the jumps, but he's not going to be contending for first place. It looks like it's going to be another draw or not. Oh, Dexter gets ahead of Wosile. It's a round win. That gets them a little bit closer. They still need an ace here. But
yeah, they still need 2 aces, I think. Well, an ace and then a round win would bring us to overtime. But either way, this one needs to be an ace.
Now they don't need 2 aces. Now they don't need 2 aces. They did before then, but here we are. What an overtake. Well,
what
I mean,
an overtake by... Well, yeah, exactly.
Because
what an overtake
yes.
from Dexter. What an overtake. All right, circumstances notwithstanding. Dexter does win that round. And then you put yourself in the position to take advantage of any errors your opponents make. And a rare one from alternate attacks means that Dexter is able to pick up that round. And, well, that is unfortunately Scrappy a little ways back, and an awkward landing means that he has lost yet more tenths to the rest of the field. And trying to deny even that single point from alternate attacks in this round is feeling, well, out of reach at the moment.
Yeah, Dexter doing his best to stay ahead of both of them. He does need to stay ahead of both of them. That is the hard part, and Scrappy needs to catch up, but he's fallen even further behind. He is more than 5 seconds back now. And Wosile and Scandir, all they need to do is coast through to the finish, which they've been pretty happy to do over the course of this one. Yeah, they've made they've clipped their wheels a few times. But apart from that, they've been nice and comfortable on this map here. Dexter stays in first place. Maybe at the very least he can set a really good time to end this map on somewhat of a high note. But Wosile and Scandir right behind. Scrappy trying to catch up. Really no chance of that happening whatsoever unless alternate attacks both make a mistake here. Both make a terrible mistake here. But they're keeping up. And Wosile is right behind Dexter. It's all over right here, right now. It's a draw. And it's a 10-6. But alternate attacks are the ones who take away Sprout's map pick.
I mean, hey, Sprout are one of only 2 teams to have a reverse sweep to their name here in the Challenger League, but alternate attacks is going to be a very difficult team to do that against, and we're not there yet, but with an alternate attacks map pick up next, that is the direction that we are heading pretty rapidly. That 4-1 scoreline that alternate attacks have been able to pull out against Sprout over and over and over, feeling in the cards a little bit.
I still believe they can do it. I mean, to be fair, they can do it. Like, we have seen better times on pretty much all maps from, at the very least, Dexter is Scrappy as well, especially on reps, than Scandir and Wosile. Technically, their PBs are better than both of these players, but it's more just the fact that they have not been able to bring out PBs all the time. Obviously, nobody is able to bring out PBs every single round, but, you know, alternate attacks' average times are just so good that Sprout need to be putting together PBs all the time.
Yeah, well, it'll start with back and forth. If they can do it here, that'll be a big win.
Helps.
That will help quite a lot as well, so I'll drop a long way down.
Yeah, well, that's a good start for Sprout. Here we go. Scandir keeping up now with Dexter. Scrappy right behind as well. Sprout still have a chance in this one. It's a long road to winning this series, this whole set against alternate attacks, but they can start it right here. They can get it done. It is possible, and that is all that they need on this one. How many times have we said that Sprout are down and out, and they've come back into it? Think back to Ominosun in week 6, where they went 3 maps down, and we were like, Sprout, they're done. That's it. Yeah. And then they came back into it. They got that reverse sweep done because they have such insane clutch potential. And right now, first and second place.
Yep, sitting in the potential for an ace, and that is the position that Scandir makes a mistake behind them as well. 58.2 up the top is round-winning time this time around. Scrappy 3/10 behind that. Alternate attacks, just too many errors from them, and not what you expect to see. And of course, looking forward to the shape of this match as well, Twiggy. Even if Sprout managed to win here, or you know, managed to move on. They've not chosen to put freestyle in 4th position in this match, as they did both times last weekend. As the map that they have won against alternate attacks most often, that's not the map that they are going to next. It will be Slippy Slides. They've left freestyle much deeper in the map pool for this one. It would be pick number 6. So, you know, it's a different look. They're kind of betting on their ability to win a couple of maps and then having that in the back pocket later on. Yes.
In the meantime, both Wosile and Scrappy have made pretty horrible errors. Wosile slides out in the plastic section. Scrappy had a very, very tough start. Dexter and Scandir are up against each other now, but Dexter is putting together a killer time. Scandir down by almost a second already, and not off the back of a mistake, just slower through the map. Dexter staying well out in first place. We know that he can bring it all the way when he needs to. And he's going to get that first place pretty securely there. 57.9, very good time. And it is going to be a draw. Sprout stay 3 points ahead.
And alternate attacks, the times are not looking particularly impressive so far, honestly, from either of them. Wosile obviously with a mistake in that round, but Scandir without any kind of obvious major mistakes, still about a 58.5 is not exactly what we'd expect to see, especially, you know, alternate attacks. They brought us to this map. They wanted to play back and forth here. They are better than that on this map. We're waiting to see if they can pick it up in time to deny Sprout an opening back into the match.
Yeah, well, Scrappy down again, just a little bit this time, not terrible whatsoever, but Scandir and Wosile, they will pounce on any kind of error, well, not even error, just any kind of difference in time that you have. Dexter is doing his utmost to stay in first place. He's been doing incredibly well on this map so far. Scrappy now close enough to Wosile that he can go for that overtake, and as we move into the identity, it's still close enough that anything could happen.
Yeah, anything could happen, usually does happen, might happen on this round at least, and Sprout will be hoping for it, because at the moment Scandir is getting an overtake onto Dexter, is holding off the second place player at the moment. Wosile is sitting in third. It's all going to come down to this last turn for the top two. Scandir holds on, and without a crash will get across the line. Scrappy though snipes out Wosile by half a tenth to turn it into a draw. Sprout stay 3 points ahead.
Sprout doing what they need to do now. I mean, they got that ace. All you need to do is keep getting draws all the way to the end, and they'll take those to the bank at the moment. Wosile and Scandir, it doesn't matter, well, how consistent they are. Their times aren't quick enough right now to contend with Sprout, and as Sprout have, you know, picked up in terms of their consistency, they're feeling a lot better on this one. They really haven't made, well, they haven't made terrible mistakes. At the very least, they've had one player doing very well in each round.
They've been managing to keep at least one player up there, and as you say, with an ace in the back pocket, that is all you need to do, is keep turning these draws, maybe even pick up another round win. With Scandir a long way down the field, this is the chance for Sprout to move even further ahead, out of range of a single ace, tying things up for alternate attacks. Wosile trying to turn this one into a draw, and that would be damage limitation now for alternate attacks. And damage limitation isn't really where they want to be. They want to be winning rounds. It will not be the case this time, barring a mistake from Dexter at the very end. Wosile crosses the line. Scrappy in third, and Sprout, they move to 7 points. They move to track point, and it's a pretty dominant one.
Yeah, I mean, we know they like drama, so here we go. I did say that I thought Sprout would get at least 2 maps here on this series. And over those first 2 maps, I thought I was going to eat my words, but here we are, and Sprout actually looking really good right now. They are looking like they have alternate attacks' number here on back and forth, and they keep it up all to the very end. It's looking like it, especially for Dexter so far.
Yeah, has been absolutely on fire. Trying to push that, I mean, push to the record would be great and not unexpected from Dexter when he's on a round like this, when he's on a map like this, when he's driving like this the entire way through. We'll see if they can hold on to it here as well. I'm nervous for Scandir now. He's made a lot of mistakes in the previous rounds. I'm watching with Scrappy sitting in third place with an ace ending it in Sprout's favor. This is a dangerous position for alternate attacks.
It really is. Dexter still in first place. Scandir with a lot of speed, but we know what that can do here on the back and forth identity. He stays in second place for the time being. Sets himself up really nicely for the last turn, and he gets first place over Dexter.
Oh, Wosile sniped as well.
Oh my lord. Victory. Oh, not like this. They're not coming back in. No.
Ain't no way alternate attacks come back into it. They are only 3 points behind at the moment. That round win is big. It's not the end of the world for Sprout. It's not at all the end of the world for Sprout. They still sit a win away from closing this out, from stealing alternate attacks' map pick. But alternate attacks, you can't count them out. And Sprout, have they been feeling a little bit too consistent for a little bit too long, Twiggy? I mean,
don't tempt fate. Don't tempt fate. Please don't do that. Oh man, alternate attacks now in a 1-2 position. Skandir and Wosal have both decided now is the time to put on the afterburners, and Skandir is putting on a screamer at the moment. Dexter has crashed head first into a wall. Dear. Scrappy is already 1 second down on these two players. Alternate attacks, they can bring it back level with this round. They just have to keep it clean. They don't even have to put together an amazing time here. Skandir stays in first, Wosal in second. It looks like they're clean through to the very end. Not like this. Not like this. It looks like it's going to be the ace. It is indeed. Sprout are made level.
I told you, I could feel it in my bones, Twiggy. We'd had too many clean Sprout rounds. It was just too many clean Sprout rounds in a row. And alternate attacks, well, they'll strike back as Dexter went headfirst into a wall. Scrappy just a little bit off the pace. We're tied up at 8-8, and this would be heartbreaking for Sprout to let slip away.
It would be heartbreaking for everyone, man. This is the alternate attacks are like the villain. I'm sure they're incredibly nice people, but at the same time, they are just like this villain that just keeps squashing down the hero every single time on this one. Sprout, they start to get back into it, and suddenly alternate attacks like, no. It is honestly. That's my Batman impression. No, but it seriously does just feel that way, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah, no sense about right. Anyway, we'll see who does the squashing in this round. I reckon we're probably going to get a draw. That just feels right for these two teams in this particular circumstance. But at the moment, it is Sprout who have a little bit of an advantage. With Scrappy and Dexter both closing on Skandir through the identity, and it's up to Skandir to keep it clean. But I back him.
Wosal is closing. Wosal is closing. Wosal is closing. Oh my God!
Alternate attacks will take the win. An ace into a win means they win the map. They move to 3-0, and they are a map away from becoming the Challenger League champions.
I'm speech. I've got my comfort bucket here. I needed. It's a comfort bucket. That was unbelievable. It's just every time, man. Every time. It just feels like it never ends. Alternate attacks just don't give them anything. Like, Sprout get as close as they can get, and suddenly alternate attacks are just there.
Yeah, they were up 8-5 with two rounds, as we now know, remaining. 8-5 is a position that more often than not, you expect the team with it to close out from. Sprout just not able to do it against alternate attacks. And that means we go to Slippy Slides. We go to a map that Sprout now have to win. Now, again, Twiggy, I want to stress that this is normally a position where Sprout have chosen freestyle against alternate attacks. Yeah. They've been very good on freestyle. They've won freestyle against alternate attacks. It has been the map that they can take. They have not played Slippy Slides against alternate attacks. And, well, they're hoping that they can take the win here, that they look good on this, that they can then sneak away the map against alternate attacks, that they can take Parkour, and that then they get freestyle as map 6 to maybe continue the reverse sweep. And I don't hate the strategy, given how the match has gone. Yeah,
I was casting my mind back to Sprout versus Ominous, and I was trying to, not today, but the other one. I was trying to think what the map that they started their comeback on was. I thought it was Slippy Slides for a second, but Slippy Slides was the one before that, so unfortunate. But I thought like maybe there would be a parallel in that one. But I mean, Skandir has made a mistake to start off with, and Sprout can get ahead to start the map. But I mean, last map they got out ahead to a massive start, and it didn't come to anything. Wosal drops further back. And it's Dexter and Scrappy. I mean, to be fair, they've looked really good on this map today. They have looked very good. They have looked very good on this map throughout the Challenger League as well. And they will pick up a win here to kick things off. Taking it safe, taking it easy, not setting any particular PBs. But looking at the PBs, you know, they're better for Sprout. The average times are better for Sprout. The win percentage is better for Sprout on this map than alternate attacks. And alternate attacks, I mean, you don't want to start to let Sprout back into the match, because we've seen it. They are capable of pulling off a reverse sweep. And with freestyle waiting in the wings, with Parkour in the middle, of Parkour that Sprout have looked shockingly good at so far today. Yeah.
Maybe you start to worry a little bit about this map if you are alternate attacks.
What I love about this matchup is that despite the fact that we are 3-0 down, and despite the fact that Sprout have only managed to get one map every time they've come up against them, you still, you still get the, like, there's still hope, right?
Yeah,
There's still hope within your heart that Sprout are able to do it. I think they just have that, again, I'm going to use the word potential, but there is just there's that copium. I think, you know, you can have a copium in this one, and it doesn't feel unjustified.
Chat can have a copium.
You can have a little copium as a treat.
Well, you know, don't take it all at once, and you know, save some for the rest of the maps, because it is a long road to the reverse sweep. And at the moment, Wosa is sitting in first place, Scrappy is in second, Dexter with the mistake a long way behind Scandir, and this may be alternate attacks pulling themselves a little bit back closer to Sprout. Oh, Scrappy trying to snipe, and he will.
Oh,
Scrappy will take the win by 200ths of a second, and he will do that squash that you were talking about earlier, Twiggy. He will prevent any hope from creeping back in for alternate attacks on that round.
How many times has Scrappy sniped here on Slippy Slides? It just seems like it's inevitable. Yeah, so often at this point. This is unbelievable, the amount of times he manages to do that. Sprout, look, this should really be their map against alternate attacks. It's probably one of the best chances they have, other than freestyle, which isn't, you know, obviously that's not happening right now. So this is really their best chance to get this done right here, right now. And, I mean, it's looking good so far. Obviously, you can't count out alternate attacks at any point, but Sprout are looking confident. Again, as they get towards that identity, they always seem to be so... their ability to go into the identity in that line that they seem to take, which is so on the inside and manage to make up a lot of time. They're very confident going into it.
Yeah, they have been. Scrappy will be very outside that time around, having to do a little bit of a dive back down, and he will clip a checkpoint directly afterwards as well. And now Dexter is going to try and hold on, is going to try and turn this one into another draw, keep Sprout out in front. Dexter is so much further inside than either of the players from alternate attacks at the moment, and is holding on. He's keeping it clean, he's keeping it safe. He will finish with a 1:11.2. Great time up front, and then it's second and third for alternate attacks to hold the draw.
Yeah, Sprout. I'm getting a bit of deja vu. Sprout managed to get their ace and then get draws over and over and over again. And yeah.
Don't you put that evil on this map.
No, I'm not trying to... Look, I'm just saying they need to start getting more than draws here, because it's starting to get worrying. You know, like, there's that fear creeping in right now.
Yep, no, I absolutely agree, because they had managed to get a win already at this point on back and forth. They were 4 points clear for a lot of that map. And, well, when they were at 7-4, then it turned into 8-5, then it turned into 8-8, and then they lost. So 5-2, definitely not safe just yet. Alternate attacks are going to look to pull this one back, and there is Scandir up front overtaking Dexter this round. Very close, all players within about 3/10 of each other through the middle of the map, and it is 6,000s between Dexter and Scandir as we head towards the middle. Yeah,
and, well, Sprout have a better turn there. They move back up. Dexter in first place, Scrappy really contending for second here, and as we know, their identity is generally better. Dexter goes real nice. Oh, he goes back round outside. I think he had an awkward one there, but he keeps it clean. Oh my lord, that is out of control from Dexter. He manages to make it through to the end. That was scary, but he did it, and Scandir and Wosa are far enough behind that it didn't matter either way. I thought he was going to crash into a wall like 3 times there, but it's an ace from Sprout, and here we go. Okay, this is looking way more like it.
That's what you want. No more draws, pick up an ace instead. Dexter, he went the scenic route, for sure, on that
I was like, oh man, these guys are so good at getting that inside line on every one of those jumps, and then Dexter just goes,
He found parts of the track that have never felt the touch of a wheel before in their life. But hey, he still finished in second place. They still pick up the ace that time around. And yeah, 8-2 is a much stronger scoreline than 8-5. It's not 1 ace to bring yourselves back. It's 2 right now for alternate attacks. And Sprout, if they close this one out, Parkour, it feels winnable for them today.
It does. Yeah, it really does. They look incredible, actually, on Parkour. Like, the most consistent team we have seen on Parkour in their last game, which is... they've gone from the least consistent of the identity to the most consistent team on the map, I think, in the course of 1 week, which is unbelievable to say. But, yeah, I think it is looking like it may be theirs on that one. But we have to get there first. So far, Dexter and Scrappy looking like they're going to do it right here, right now. Wosal trying to keep up. Skandir a long way back. It looks like it's all over unless a massive mistake comes through from these players. Might just be an ace to finish things off. Indeed, it is. Wosal, he hits a wall. I mean,
he got a 111.1 as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's Dexter. But I mean, again, final round of the map, and he gets an insane time. There you go. Okay, Sprout. They've fulfilled the prophecy of 4-1, but it's looking like it. No, hear me out. It's looking like it may go a little further than that.
It may go a little bit further than that, but Parkour is where Alternate Attacks did close it out in both of our series last weeks, and they did it in relatively convincing fashion. So we've been impressed with Sprout so far today on Parkour. We feel like they're a little bit more consistent. They have looked more consistent over the course of their match with Ominote Sun, but Twiggy, Alternate Attacks, they're still really good at this map, and they have beaten Sprout on it multiple times in the past.
I will say, in a lot of critical moments, I feel like Alternate Attacks have made a lot of mistakes on this map. Maybe not overall, but I think...
was going to say today as well, Alternate Attacks have made some pretty critical errors.
I meant on Parkour. Specifically,
yeah, no, but you combine those two, Parkour and today, them not looking as on rails, as machine-like as they sometimes do.
Yeah.
And hey, Sprout, this is your moment. If there was ever a time to win against Alternate Attacks on Parkour, it is this time right now.
See, there's the copium, right? I said it. It's really taken hold now, isn't it? Somehow, you know, like Sprout are down 2 maps, and we're like, Sprout can do this.
Sprout could win.
Sprout can win, yeah. Like, it's insane, isn't it? That's just Dexter and Scrappy for you.
Here's how Bertie Sprouters can still win this election.
Sure, great, real good. That's what? Okay. I am once again. I don't
asking
even
for your first places. I'm once again asking for world records from Sprout. At the moment, it won't be Dexter, and Wosal does lead from Scrappy, leads from Skandir as we head through this identity for the first time. Scrappy is low through that. He's not going to be on a line to go for the flip this time around. He will maybe be able to hold off Skandir just about, and Wosal with a great 102.3 up at the top. Round win to kick things off for really Alternate Attacks.
Yeah, really good time to start things off. Scrappy, again, though, is consistent for it. It's maybe not an amazing time. You know, it was a 102.8, but still consistent. Way more consistent than he has been, you know? And that's an important part, right? He's not putting together the times so far, but Alternate Attacks don't have the same kind of thing that Sprout do, where they just put together randomly amazing times. Their times are usually very consistent, and they stick around second and third. And Sprout, they more often get first places. And the fact that Scrappy is now consistent means that if he can put together the times with that consistency, Alternate Attacks are more likely to drop places. And I think Sprout definitely have that chance here. But right now, obviously, they need to clean things up. Dexter was further back behind on that one. And this time, Wosal and Skandir are out ahead in this round.
5-1 is such a brutal scoreline to try and come back from, and that is what Alternate Attacks are on pace for at the moment. Scrappy with a mistake. It's on Dexter now to try and catch them.
I can only apologize.
1 and 2. He might go for the flip. He thinks about it. He thought about it. He definitely thought about it there. He chose not to go for it, and that means Wosal and Skandir will pick up the ace, and they will move to 5-1 ahead on Parkour.
I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. Scrappy, yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's chat's fault for believing you when you said Scrappy was looking consistent on Parkour. You can't be blamed for that.
Your fault for getting scammed, chat, not me. Alternate Attacks, I mean, yeah, I feel like they are determined to get 4-1s against Sprout. They're just... It's just they're not letting them get any more than that.
Hey, I did like the change up from Sprout, you know, going for a slippy slide fourth instead of freestyle, leaving that a bit later in the match. It maybe seemed for a second like it was going to work. Parkour is definitely a map they can compete on. The 5-1. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it so often. It is such a difficult scoreline to come back from. It probably starts with getting a round win now. I mean, if you leave it too late in the match, things get very difficult. Dexter's held on just about behind Wosal at the moment, and he's trying to chase them through this identity.
Skandir got a little wheel clip on the bobsleigh there. He falls back a little further, and that allows Sprout a little
Extra
better.
speed.
Yeah. Oh man,
no,
no,
he
that's
doesn't.
not good enough. Oh, Dexter goes into the into the void. You shouldn't have. Why did you say that? Wosal comes first. Dexter me.
Wosal is
no.
on fire, but just, I mean, listen, I must
Wosal
not
is
speak because I get in big
insane
trouble.
right now, yes.
But Wosal is on fire. 102.3 twice already in the match, and Dexter's mistake sends him behind. Scandier puts alternate attacks to a tournament point, 7-2. An ace here would close out their stage in style.
Man, oh, and Dex. Oh no, both of them clip. Scrappy hits the pole, Dexter hits the wall. Alternate attacks are out in front by by a full second.
Well, you know,
I prefer
mean,
really
sometimes
not
you have
to
to work for the ace for tournament
If I
point.
speak
And,
big trouble,
well, sometimes,
and I do not want to be in big trouble.
Listen, we're gonna have to do a little bit of speaking here, Twiggy, because we are still casting potentially a tournament-winning round of Trackmania here in the Trackmania Challenger League. But we'll try not. Well, no, you know what? I'm fully on board for cursing alternate attacks. They've been so consistent.
dare you.
They've kept it so clean the entire way through. They definitely will not make any mistakes between here and the end of the track. Yes,
hello?
it's working.
Hello?
It's
Hello?
working.
It worked.
Dexter is gaining on Scandier. I'm using my powers for good, and we may have another round left yet as Dexter cruises through to the finish line, gaining on Scandier. Won't catch him, but brings us to another round.
Oh man, it's just it never. Oh, Wosal isn't getting through. Hold on, where's Scrappy? He's not close enough. I don't think he can make it.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't matter either way. They're getting 1 point. Wosal. Oh no, he gets there. Okay, no, they do get 2 points. Wow, that was a close affair right there. Okay, alternate. It's not over yet, guys. You were all putting GG in chat. You don't do it. Don't do it. It's not over yet. Surely not 2 aces in a row. Surely not 2 aces in a row for Sprout.
Ain't no way. That copium that Twiggy handed out, it is now time to break it out from underneath your chair, everyone, because I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Sprout to get through, to get the 2 aces necessary. Dexter has fallen behind. He's had problems with this turn several times tonight. He will not pop up the other side this time around, but he does release a little bit on the way through. He's still within touching distance of the cars in front, but with everyone neck and neck, alternate attacks only need 1 point to lock up the entire tournament.
It's looking incredibly likely. It doesn't matter how many times we say it. They're in first and second position. This time, Wosal does not touch the edge of the dirt turn. They're in first and second through to the identity. They're in first and second over the first jump, the second jump, the third jump. It looks like they might just make it. Scandier narrowly misses the pole. They cruise through. It doesn't matter if he overtakes here. He can't do enough. Alternate attacks with the ace to end things off, and they take the whole playoffs.
Alternate attacks are your Trackmania Challenger League champions for the first stage of 2023. And I don't think there's anyone who can argue that they are not deserving champions. Scandier has been the best player in Challenger League almost the entire way through. Speed and consistency, he has it all. And Wosal has stepped up so massively over the last week of the regular season and throughout the playoffs in their match against Sprout. Their matches against Sprout, Wosal has been a monster. He finishes it out with an incredible performance here on